Hello everyone, it's Michael here. I am here in sunny Hangzhou. It's cold. We're going through a little bit. It's not cold, it's like nippy. It really, for this season, for November, it should be freezing cold right now, but it isn't. So there we go. I'm in quite a warm apartment because I've been walking around like fixing everything. But less on that, and let's move on to what I actually want to talk about today. I had a conversation with someone because I was up late at night. Anxiety is a bitch. And I was having a conversation with someone who wanted to sign me to their books. But the conversation kind of led into how we perceive the industry right now. Now, I will say this to anybody who watches this video: the industry, there is no definitive on how to be a successful actor in this industry. If someone tries to say to you, you can be a successful actor by doing this, this, or this, they are talking absolute garbage. Some people get in by having career paths in different avenues. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, who is basically using his fame to sell tons of brands, to open his own companies, to make a ton of money. Dave Bautista, who's taking his turn as an actor rather seriously and who's getting training to become a better actor, and he wants to do other stuff in the industry because he knows that his age is progressing. He'll eventually not be able to be cast in the roles that he wants. Looking at guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who used bodybuilding to move into acting, but again, he had training. Despite the fact that a lot of his stuff is very cheesy, he had training. Now, the thing that bothers me is there's this perception, and a lot of them is by my old agent, Elaine Eaglestone, and other agents have said, you need to be a social media guru in order to be an actor. You do not. Being a social media guru, like getting your fame as an actor, gives you presence on social media. If people are a fan of your work, Ewan McGregor, Michael J. Fox, Michael Keaton, etc., etc., etc. If you're a fan of their body of work, you will basically migrate to their social media profiles to see how they live their everyday lives. Another example is Bryan Danielson, aka Daniel Bryan from the WWE, works in AEW now. Stellar career. WWE gave him a platform and he gained a huge social media following, partly due to his wife, who is a social media guru, right? She's someone who manages to make money off of the social media platforms that she has. I'm not hating on that. That's great, right? The Kim Kardashians, etc., etc. But here's the thing. Being a social media influencer does not make you a great actor. And 9 times out of 10, what people want to see from you is they want to see you actually act. If someone basically sees you in a body of work and says, hey, I saw you in this film. John Boyega, for instance, he did Kidulthood, right? He did, not Kidulthood, Attack the Block. He did Attack the Block. And J.J. Abrams saw that movie, was a huge fan of his and said, hey, you're John Boyega. I saw you in this. I really have an idea for you. I want to cast you in blah, blah, blah. And it went on from there. Other actors right now are making their own companies, like starting theatre companies, starting online ventures where they can use their acting platform. Others are moving into drama teaching. And you do have those who are opening their own pet projects in order to make certain movies for themselves. But to be honest, how many movies are you going to go on Kickstarter for? Or you're just going to go to social media in order to fund these movies, and then they don't do anything. You put them in a few film festivals, and that's great. None of them won an Oscar. None of them won a BAFTA. The whole point of having those types of platforms is that you want to win awards so people can give you notoriety for that thing that you do. You know, acting, the thing that's your job. And not really even a job, it's a passion. And you have people who come from social media backgrounds. You have people who are musicians, Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, for example, Rihanna, who are terrible. They don't know how to act whatsoever. Their acting is trash, right? But they have a fan base. So these movies bring them on and they don't get anywhere. They don't make any money because people watch these movies and think this is so cringe. We want to see you do the thing you're famous for, like singing. 50 Cent is another one. He's done some good stuff. Like, I have to admit, his Turn on Power was good, but that was more because the character was more like him, right? His acting is terrible. He's tried to do other things outside of his spectrum and it doesn't work because he's not an actor. And this is the thing, charisma doesn't transfer from one field to the next, right? And I know a lot of people are going to use the exception of Lady Gaga. Yes, Lady Gaga is a fantastic actress. And yes, she's on some very, very, good body of work, but 9 times out of 10, that doesn't work. You have a lot of people who try to move from one to the other, but have no understanding on what the other thing is because they don't do the training. They haven't experienced this before. This isn't their life. It's not their livelihood. So they'll go back to doing what they're good at rather than moving into that thing that they're not good at. Even to a certain extent, David Bowie, who's done he did some good movies, stuff with minimum roles. Everyone talks about his dick when they're basically going on about Labyrinth, but he's never been that guy where everyone can sit there and go, wow, man, this guy deserves an Oscar for his portrayal in whatever. And that's what bugs me in regardless to this. And I hate as well the stigma that extras get. In the UK, we are so entitled to the point that we consider people who do extra work beneath us. I did a movie with Benedict Cumberbatch. It was called Brexit. I had one line in this movie. My scene got cut, but fuck it, it was there. I had one line in this movie, and Benedict Cumberbatch was talking to this other guy, asking him how he's been, and he was talking about how most actors go to drama school nowadays. All you have to be is an extra, and you can smooze on set and smooze your way into a role. And he looked at me, and I'm just looking, I'm very uncomfortable going, I went to drama school, kind of laughed it off and just moved on from the situation, but the dude didn't like me on that day. But, he has that opinion. And everyone has this rather entitled opinion that if you're an extra, you shouldn't be an actor. That is beyond the case. And then you have those who say, well, I don't have to go to drama school. No, you don't have to go to drama school. If you can't afford to go to drama school and you can't pay for drama school, if you want to be a better actor, go to acting classes. Go with someone who has experience, who understands the industry, who's had a few movies and TV shows under their belt, so you know what it is you want to do. Or if you're moving into theatre, go for someone who's specifically trained in theatre, because theatre, film and TV are so different. Voiceover is so different than film, television and theatre. So you're going into these other avenues not knowing how to do your work in said avenues. And this is what bugs me. You're spending all your time trying to get likes and clicks and get brand deals. And you're doing something that, to be honest, you don't like doing, you don't want to do. I have a friend of mine, or should I say former friend, because when the whole Elaine thing happened, we've stopped talking since then, because she saw me as the reason why her potential success was taken away. And I hate that too, but we'll talk about that. She spends all her day on social media trying to be a brand influencer, trying to do social media influencing in hopes that she lands an acting role in something. She's such a talented actress, but she does not act. And I know COVID has made things more difficult. I give a shout out to a guy who is doing amazing things that way. James Doherty. He's started his own company, and they do online immersive experiences with their own scripts, their own screenplays, and they sell out, right? Hands up, that's amazing. But the amount of times, if you're trying to produce a movie and it's just something you can do to circle jerk yourself, if you're going around kissing asses of people who seem to be more successful than you are. We having this conversation, he told me about an actor who's perceived as one of the most successful independent actors in the British industry. He saw him selling massages at a market somewhere, and it proved he wasn't as successful as he appeared to be on social media. It's toxic. But he would ham it up. He was trying to sell people stocks recently and talk about Bitcoin and tell people how he can teach them how to invest. And it pisses me off because I thought he was different. He was different than the scam artists and the people trying to milk actors. And this is what's happened recently. Actually, since 4 years ago, actors are being manipulated into thinking if you go to this workshop with this casting director, you're going to know exactly what makes you, have the keys, the winning solution in order to get you those roles. If you pay through the nose for something that you can't afford, you're going to get where you need to be. If you pay this agent money who claims to be the best agent in the industry, kiss her ass and tell everyone that she's so amazing that you will get where you need to be. The truth is quite the contrary. To be a successful actor, it takes luck, it takes skill, and it takes someone noticing you. And no one's going to notice you from being social media influenced and savvy, to be honest, because they're going to look at you and think, oh, that's the person who shilled that cream that doesn't work to tons of people. Yeah, I don't want them in my movie because they're not an actor. You are an actor. Act. If you can't find the work, create something. If you want to work for other people and do free work, make sure there's either two things. There's a credit involved, or that you're basically having stuff go to film festivals. So at least you get some exposure. Don't, and I mean this at the sincerest bottom of my heart, don't play the fame game. You're never going to be famous. And you shouldn't be famous being an actor. Be good at what you do and the rest will come. Be excellent at your work and you will get there. Don't pretend that you're something that you're not. I'm not Philip DeFranco. I'm not one of these huge TikTokers. When I came to China, one of the things I got told was go in Douyin, and if you get popular in Douyin, you'll become a big actor in China. I don't want to do that shit. It should be about your talents. I've seen so many amazing, excellent actors who are not getting any work because they are basically getting overwhelmed by all the bullshit that apparently comes with being a successful actor. Being on Facebook 24/7 is toxic. Being on Instagram 24/7 is toxic. Being on YouTube 24/7 is toxic. You get famous because you do shit on there. Like guys like Jacksepticeye, the Diamond Minecart, and TDM, right? They're famous for being gaming internet personalities. They are not famous for being actors. So when they go, but saying that, I will say with Free Guy, they were cast perfectly because all they had to do is react to shit, which is what they can do, right? But they're not actors. So you see when it translates and it looks so cringe watching these guys do what they do. They earn money out of it, but it doesn't grow the movie's like fan base. It doesn't make people want to watch these movies because your favorite influencer is in it. Because these influencers are terrible. I remember there was a commercial for Big Brother on Channel 5, right? And they talked about all the perks from being on Big Brother and you'll be so successful. It wanes. Being like a personality wanes because you're famous for doing nothing. That's it. You're famous for being this bigger and bolder version of yourself, but eventually it goes. And then people just forget about you and move on to the next craze. If you want to be an actor, be an actor. If you're passionate about acting, act. If you're a director wanting to make your next movie, do that. But have a vision of where you want to go. Don't just make movies so you get a budget on social media, you make some shit, it goes on Amazon Prime and Netflix, and no one has a word about it again, or it goes straight to DVD bin. Don't sell yourself short. You are not a social media influencer. You are not someone who is going to shill products. You are an actor. Be an actor. And, in the famous words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, have something else to fall back on, because you've got to. It's why I'm teaching, right? I'm not a successful, famous actor. I've done some great stuff. A lot of stuff has been like expunged from my resume because of previous issues. But at least I acted. When at one point I was having the same people call me up again and again and again to do different roles in different movies, because they knew that I was a reliable hand and I could do whatever I was told to do. That's a mark of a good actor. Doing shit despite the fact that you know that it's probably a one-off job here or a one-off job there. Everyone has a recognizable face. Everyone can do a fucking commercial where you're pretending to be happy. But acting takes skill. And I'm so sick and tired of the fact that it's been overran with all this bullshit when it shouldn't be. You are an actor. That's what you are, and that's what you should forever be. Don't get forced out of the industry because of all this bullshit, because it will ruin you. And that's what it did to me. I became so overwhelmed with trying to keep up with the Joneses because I wanted to be this like famous person. When I intentionally became an actor, when I went into professional wrestling as well, I went in to do it because of the love of it. I never did it because I wanted any fame. I never went and did stand-up comedy at the Comedy Store and did some improv. I didn't do that because I wanted to be famous for that. I did it because I thought it was fun and I wanted to have fun doing it and learn about it. That's all you need to do. Don't let anybody warp your perception and tell you have to do X, Y, and Z in order to become famous. On the top of my hand, I can name 5 actors who are not playing that game who are doing very, very well. And everybody else who's playing that game, who's pretending to be internet famous, they get nothing. They're still begging directors for jobs. They're still pressuring people so they can get work. That's not the way you should be doing things. People need to see what you can do and then want to work with you, not the other way around. The only people who manage to get work from calling people up are usually established actors who can call Marvel and go, hey, I want to do this role. Mahershala Ali, for instance, the man had a huge body of work, of award-winning work at legitimate film festivals before he called Marvel and said, yo, I want to be Blade. And they're like, well, he's an Oscar winner. Oh, cool. It's not rocket science. Sometimes we have to pull back the reins a little bit and realize that this isn't where we want to be. But that's it from me. Have a great day. I hope you're having a lovely time wherever you are. And just remember, if you're feeling depressed, it's temporary. But if you need to talk, if you get to the point where you feel like you just want to end things, my DMs are always open. Message me here, message me on Facebook, Instagram. I'll be there for you to listen. I'm not usually the best of friends when it comes to people because I have my own anxiety and issues, but when I can be, I will be there. Just please be strong. Please be happy. And remember, the world is a very scary place right now, but we'll get through this together. Have a great day.